Welcome to the Emerging Lawyer series at the Coffee Conversation Show powered by the Emerging India Forum TIF and a tech partner, Prime Infotech Solution. Theme is Sports, Statutes and Strategy, the making of modern legal mind. We have with us Angad Makkar, Senior Associate at Saikrishna and Associates. Whether it's copyright, conflicts, telecom regulation, or sports law in India, you'll get a ringside view into how legal frameworks adapt to disruption. Angad brings to the table a remarkable blend of litigation expertise, academic rigor, editorial curiosity, honed across industry giants like Trilegal, Classroom of Jindal Global Law School. So let's dive into this high energy, high insight conversation where intellectual property meets personal passion. So welcome, Angad, today's coffee conversation.
Thank you. Thank you. Pleasure to be here, of course.
Okay. So let me explain you. There will be three rounds: professional journey, personal journey, and a surprise rapid fire where you will be in the hot seat and here's an inspiration, Legal AI 101, which will be autographed and sent to you.
Sounds
So
good.
let's
Looking forward to it. Yeah.
So, friends, I'm Lion Amir Virani, host at Coffee Conversation and Legal Tech Evangelist at Prime Infotech Solution, author of 15 books. We help law firms, corporate legal startup, SMEs, world class technology, software licensing, and tech training solutions. So, my first question uh, how has the journey been, and what were the key defining moments you had, Angad?
Oof, that's a very loaded one. The journey has, of course, been great so far. Continuously learning, still very young into the profession, of course. So there's lots more, hopefully, of the journey to come. But whatever I've had, dealt the cards that I've been dealt with so far, really can't complain. It's been about trial and error. It's been about figuring out what is the right fit for me and the practice area which I identify with the most. But can safely say that it's been worth all of it, and I'm really looking forward to whatever is in store in the future.
Wow. Okay. So, let's dive deep into the conversation. Uh, so, your interest in sports law. I've seen by it is varied interest: sports, IPR,
Mhm.
tech law. Let's take
Yeah,
one law at a time. Uh, because sports law is evolving in India, and we have done a couple of what's say coffee conversation episodes with Deep R, Apurva Deshmukh, Sarva Deshmukh. Then there is we have done also with Professor Tarun. He teaches sports law at GNLU, and there is one coffee speaker, ex Infosys. She's now promoting sports promotion through technology. Swati Bhojraj, now based in Spain. So we have little insights how sports law is now becoming big in India. So
right.
how do you because the athletes how does an athlete take to the agreement part now, because this is a very a new niche area where athletes rights are being protected, and there has been an arbitration case also. So what is
Right.
your experience being working with different athletes?
I mean, actually, just off the bat, I think I've been on the other side of the table more. We do represent a lot of big media and broadcasting houses, so we're actually the ones going up against the athletes a lot of times. But it's been really refreshing, of course, to see the position from where their councils are coming and from there where they are coming, and how their councils are constantly trying to ensure, as you pointed out, that their rights and their interests, especially in their image and personality, which is of course the key tool for monetization for any athlete, how that can be protected in the best manner possible. They'll try to avoid exclusive contracts where they can, because they don't want to be tied down to just one entity or one company. They want to ensure that multiple avenues are open. So even if there's exclusivity, if they would confer exclusivity, it would be in a very limited nuance that, okay, I'm exclusive to you, but only with respect to broadcast of this particular sporting event and promotion of that. But for any other service, I can still go and provide my services to others. So that's of course been really refreshing to see how that position has been changing, because I'm sure 10 to 15 years ago, maybe athletes were not so empowered. They must have had lesser bargaining power when it came to these agreements and these negotiations. But yeah, the tables have definitely turned now, and for the better. I definitely agree it's for the better, because at the end of it, they worked hard to get where they are, and they do, of course, deserve all protection, both commercially and in terms of moral rights as well, so as to ensure that their image is protected and presented in the manner they deem best fit. Other than that, in sports law, of course, India itself is making strides now. Just recently, I believe earlier this week, we've had the National Sports Governance Bill that's been tabled. So that will actually, try to bring within its fold regulatory bodies within various sports. So even BCCI, I believe, would have now certain implications under that. And I actually am yet to do a deep dive from my end into it, but I'm, really looking forward to getting into that because I believe that will definitely shape the future of sports in India.
Wow, that's beautiful. Okay, that was now the athletes. Now let's come to what do you say? Film personalities. As you said, by personality rights. We have done a lot of coffee where personality rights, and we'll be doing in coffee with Nayantara Sanyal also, where she written an article on IP in Bollywood cinema. Uh, and also we have done with Ranjana Adhikari. She is
Mhm.
expert in OTT, how OTT has evolved. And we
Mhm.
have also done with Pep. He's an OTT strategist. He's worked with
Right.
ex Live. So, like, there is also the Sujoy Mukherjee from Nayak and Nayak. Recently, we did in person. So, uh, from your viewpoint, where you come across अपना ये film personalities, content creators, uh, how can they protect their rights, their voices, and because content creators mean protecting their content journey, their what do you say, uh, ye, ye, film scripts. So how do you guide them to protecting their rights?
So, I mean, of course, there's a litany of personality rights litigations that, luckily, unfortunately, my firm has been at the forefront of, and even I've had the opportunity to work on. We've recently gotten some very favorable orders from the Delhi High Court. I think my colleague Ms. Akanksha Munjal also was on one of these chats, and she mentioned the Sadhguru matter, which we were fortunate enough to be the counsels on record for. So it's a constantly evolving and fascinating battle, because personality rights in India, of course, aren't codified anywhere. It's mostly been, all the brunt work has been done by the judiciary in shaping it. They've taken recourse to US judgments, UK judgments, and kind of shaped how that can play out in India, while keeping in mind, of course, Article 21, from where the right to privacy and even personality flows. Um, so, with that in mind, what we have tried to do, of course, is come up with injunctions or remedies which are, of course, acknowledging those personality rights, but practically effective in protecting them also in the new technological space we're in. Because now it's very easy for someone to be sitting behind a keyboard with an anonymous account, make a deep fake of a personality and just circulate it widely on social media platforms, and without any disclaimer that this is AI generated, this is a deep fake. And a lot of consumers of that content will be fooled, and they will think, oh, my favorite celebrity is indulging in these heinous or these disgusting acts. How is this happening? So the practical remedies that we are trying to help fashion is that while we go to a court of law and we get an injunctive remedy that is, to the effect of takedown of these posts by social media platforms, it has to be something that is live and dynamic in nature, because it's not feasible for the personality to land up at court every 2 days and say, there are now 50 more accounts that are doing this. Please take them down. So the kind of dynamic reliefs that we have been able to get have ensured that both the public interest in, of course, having creative expressions regarding a personality, those are still protected. No one is saying you cannot go and comment about your favorite celebrity, give your own personal critique of them. That is all well and good, but at the same time, we are ensuring that, to the extent that there is an exploitation of someone's personality which is blatantly commercial, that can be actioned in a manner that is judicially fair, but at the same time practically very dynamic.
Wow, beautiful. So let's go maybe down a lane, Angad. Saikrishna Associates is known for media, IP, sports, tech law. What kind of client challenges excite you the most in this space?
Oh, there are there are so many to name. I think one, of course, has to be the ability to be, constantly in a position where clients are coming to us, in light of technological booms and innovations, which are kind of forcing everyone to reconsider the IP statutes that are currently in place, or at least see how will those statutes deal with these technological developments. AI is at the forefront of that, no doubt about it. So one, case that I've been following very passionately is, of course, the Chat GPT litigation going on before the Delhi High Court. The ANI News has, of course, sued OpenAI, saying that they've used ANI News's works without authorization to train the Chat GPT model, and that the Chat GPT model, in many instances, is also reproducing the work that was first published by ANI. So it's interesting to see how arguments are being presented before court, whether this is infringement, whether this would be fair use or fair dealing as per the Indian statute, and to what extent can Indian copyright law allow for such a disruptive technology such as AI to be deemed, lawful? Because of course AI has its pros, but at the same time it has its cons as well, and we're all figuring out that balancing act currently. So that's something that I'm fortunate enough to be at the helm and to get a first-hand experience of how that jurisprudence will be shaped. So that's one very exciting challenge we're constantly dealing with.
Yeah, very true. Okay. Sangad, you have worked with Trilegal and others and academia. How do these experiences shape your problem-solving style?
Yes. So Trilegal, of course, was where I joined right after college. It was a practice area that, of course, I don't usually at all kind of dabble into anymore, which was mergers and acquisitions. But what I did learn from there was something that has really helped me even today is on a transactional front. Like I said, we're often doing, even at my current job, negotiations on behalf of various clients for media contracts, broadcasting contracts, etc. And just the basics as well as the nuances of contract drafting are something that I was able to pick up at Trilegal. Because as law students, I think we don't often understand the importance of a particular clause or how it would practically play out. And it was only when I went to Trilegal and I sat, in and delved in depth into various clauses and each sub clause and what impact it would have, that I was able to better understand, the significance of that, and that's continuing to assist me even today. So that's been great. Insofar as academia, publications are concerned, that's just, was a great hobby of mine, which I still try to dabble in, but whenever time permits. I just love, having the ability to put your thoughts into paper about something that intrigues you, and at the same time, where it's really helped me, and I would really, owe a lot of credit here to my colleagues, my seniors who have helped me refine my drafts and my publications. Where it's really helped me is the ability to structure a draft really well. And I think that is something that is pivotal to a practicing litigator's job, because at the end of it, a judge will come having read your brief. And if your brief is crisp and at the same time conveying your points in a very well structured manner, you've won half the battle.
Very true. Yeah. Okay. So, Angad, as someone who's seen both litigation and advisory work, what's the process for preparing a watertight brief argument?
Ooh, again, I think structure definitely is very, very important. Sometimes, when we have a lot of thoughts, we tend to present them in a chaotic way, especially if we're excited about something. If there's a new argument I thought of, I might get excited and I want to, put it to paper right away, but without first organizing it in my head. So that becomes really hard for any person who's not in my head to understand, because it's jumping from one place to another. So I think first important thing is always just organize your thoughts, structure how you want it to go. Thereafter, you have to be, of course, really, really clear on the facts, because the facts are at the end of it pivotal to any case, and you need to make sure you're not representing anything inaccurately or you're not missing any fact which is very material. And of course, lastly, this is one thing I again think my seniors here at the firm always stress upon, is emphasize on the first principles. Right, there are always nuances or very sort of fleshed out sub arguments that you can put, but those come later. First, you need to make sure the first principles, the very basic argument that you want to put across, that has to be reflected well in your draft, because that's going to form the bedrock of any further arguments that you may have in mind.
Wow, beautiful. Okay. So, Angad, you're well read and following the copyright, IP, tech laws. So, in your view, what's the future of copyright law in the age of digital replication and content platforms?
Oh, very, very pivotal, of course. As I just mentioned, it's either two things that can happen, right? We could either have legislative amendments which are responding to technological change and specifically catering to that. But as we have seen in the past, that's few and far between. And it also, of course, takes a long time. The legislative process is long. It will require deliberation internally, public consultation, finalization. It's a very long process. So as opposed to that, the more practical route and what we are seeing anyway happening in the Delhi High Court, the Bombay High Court, and other, leading courts of the country is the judiciary interpreting the Copyright Act as it currently is so as to meet the requirements of these technological changes. And I go back again to my chat GPT litigation example. There is nothing arguably in the Copyright Act which even countenances or, envisages something like AI because it's such a disruptive technology. But at the same time, the basic principles from the Copyright Act can be picked up, and the pronouncements we've had in the past judicially on those principles, those can be extrapolated and they can be applied to the facts that are now relevant from an AI perspective. So I think that is the way forward for now until maybe the legislature decides there is a major overhaul needed. But eagerly looking forward to seeing how this jurisprudence develops.
Beautiful. So, Angad, can you share an instance where a legal project pushed your thinking beyond black letter law into strategic business territory?
I think again, it's more on the negotiation front where we see that happening. Litigation as well, of course, has its business implications that you always need to keep in mind. But sometimes I feel in litigation, those are pushed slightly to the back burner. Whereas in a negotiation, a contract discussion, there is, the foremost priority is, of course, what is it that the business or the commercial team needs. And again, going back to law school days, these were concepts that we were aware of, but never encountered. So if I was sitting and doing a law school assignment, I would never think, oh, this would be the business implication of what I am saying. But now when we're sitting in a negotiation, when we're drafting a contract, we have to be very careful and wary of what impact this would have, a particular clause that I'm adding, what impact would it have on my business as well as the counterparty's business. And at the same time, even when it comes to negotiation, there's a bit of give, a little push and give back. You have to understand where to push, you have to understand where to give back so that everyone can reach a compromise. And that is dependent again on what is it that your business at the end prioritizes the most.
Wow. So, Angad, who has influenced you or has been a mentor from the legal world?
I mean, there are again so many people. I would, if I start listing them out, it would take so long. But I think, of course, we had some great faculty at Jindal who helped set the foundation in place. And of course, my managing partner, Mr. Saikrishna Associates, he is an absolute, wonderful mentor to have, and very, very grateful to have the opportunity to work with him daily, as well as my other partners here, Mr. Siddharth Chopra, Ms. Neha Jain. There are so many more. But it's been an absolute pleasure. And, on a daily basis, I'm continuing to learn from each and every one of them, as well as, of course, the countless senior advocates that we brief, because they, at the end of it, have seen a world that we're not even aware of. So even getting a little bit of their wisdom, that's something to cherish.
Wow. Okay. So, Angad, how important is domain expertise like sports, IPR, tech law in modern legal practice, especially for young lawyers like you?
There are, I mean, of course, two sides of the argument here, which I've always heard. And even, till a few years ago, my father would speak to some lawyers and keep telling me as well that, why are you fixating on a particular practice area? My lawyer friend has said that he should explore this field or that field. So there are people who think, you need that holistic understanding, which can only come in your initial years when you can experiment more. Then there are other people who will say that if you've identified a practice area you really relate to and which you have a great passion for, stick with it and develop it from an early age. I think I fall on the latter side, which my practice also clearly demonstrates. I developed a liking and a fonding for IP very, very early in my college days, and I tried my hand in other practice areas. For a short duration, but nonetheless, I tried my hand there, and I realized that no, I think IP is where my heart lies. And since then, I think now it's been 4 years at the firm doing IP, media law, sports law, and for me, that has been more helpful, I would say, in shaping me as a professional today.
That's beautiful. So let's go to the next round and understand Angad as a person. Tell us about your family and your formative years.
So I hail from Chandigarh. I have a very small nuclear family with my parents, and I have one elder sister. My parents are based out of Chandigarh. My elder sister, she works as a software engineer in New York. We're of course very, very close, and what I always, credit my parents for is the confidence that they instilled in both me and my sister to be independent from a young age, to, have the confidence to speak up in what we believe is right and to follow what we are passionate about. I actually was a boarding school kid also for 2 years. I went to Woodstock School in Missouri. And I think that was one of the most formative periods of my life because I left the bubble of Chandigarh. I saw a very different world there with classmates from all across the globe. Since it was an international school, we had classmates from Bhutan, Korea, you name it. So that was really fascinating, and I owe my parents, a great heap of gratitude for that. But yeah, I think those are the core principles that my parents have really instilled in us from the start.
Wow. So let's go ahead and up a memory down the lane, Missouri. So what are your hangout places in Missouri? Someone wants to visit from your side or viewers out there would like to know.
So it's of course changed a lot in the 10 years since I graduated. I think Missouri's become much more commercial now. It's the go-to spot for all North Indians when it comes to summer vacation
Mhm.
now. But I am still, a sucker for Char Dukan. It's a small area above in Landor where there are, as the name suggests, four small shops. So Char Dukan, and they make whatever you would expect in the hills, Maggie, pancakes, all of that, and with a beautiful view of the landscape. And I think that's the most peaceful and epitomized way of reflecting what a beautiful experience in the hills is like.
Wow, beautiful. Okay. What are hobby or interest which helps you to unwind and recharge?
So sports, of course, that's where my passion for sports law also comes from. I have been a sports buff
Mm.
for as long as I can remember. My initial years, I think up till class 5, I was really into cricket. Then I decided to completely switch paths and I got really into football. And I played in school, I played in Jindal as well. And, football has been a great part of my life throughout. Whenever there's a game over the weekend, I'm dying to catch it. And similarly, basketball, Formula One, name any sport, I'm more than happy to tune in and watch it. So I think that's my go-to pastime.
Wow. So what's a family tradition or value you carry into your professional life?
I think integrity is definitely something that my parents have always stressed upon. Never compromise your values for whatever someone else might think you is right. Go with whatever you think is right, and never let pressures of work influence or change you in that manner. And that can be tough sometimes. Someone's values may differ from yours. They may be senior to you, and there might be a disagreement. But I think the core thing for me has always been to stick true to who I am, and not to bend under pressure.
Wow. So if three or four friends had to plan a trip together, like Dil Chahta Hai or Zindagi Na Mile Dobara, uh, where would you take them?
Also, I just recently, actually, this is recency bias, but over this summer vacation of the court in June, I went with my family and my girlfriend to Portugal. And honestly, it was one of the most beautiful places I've been to. I absolutely loved everything about it. It helps that I'm a huge Cristiano Ronaldo fan and I got to see his hometown.
Mm.
Uh,
Okay.
so I think
Mhm.
I would convince my friends to go to Portugal for sure.
Wow, beautiful. Yeah. So what's a book or movie which has left a lasting impact on you?
Uh, I think I'd go more with books. I think Animal Farm by George Orwell is something that resonated with me as a kid when I read it for the first time because of the very simplistic yet beautiful manner in which he was able to draw an analogy between animals at a farm and how human beings are, and how the capitalist system works. So these basic things, and to be able to dumb them down in that manner, I found it amazing, and that's of course very characteristic of George Orwell and his ability to do that. That's one book that has definitely stuck with me. And another classic, of course, would be To Kill a Mockingbird. That's also been, something that I found as a young child myself very attracted by.
Wow. So my last two ones are reflective. What are your plans for 2025 personally and professionally?
So personally, I think take downtime whenever I can, prioritize my health a bit more and, physical exercise to the extent possible. I've really gotten into pickleball and paddle, the new sports sensations. So I've been playing that a lot. And of course, a lot of my friends were in that age group where everyone's getting married. So I have a lot of weddings to attend on the personal front. Professionally, I think it's just about continuing to learn from the amazing seniors I have here, from the amazing colleagues I have here, taking whatever opportunities we get in this evolving field. and just ensuring that I maintain a good balance between both.
Beautiful. So my last one is a googly one. Describe Angad in one line.
Oh, that's actually very, very tough. I think let me think on this. I think persistent and determined.
Beautiful. Okay, so let's put you in the hot seat. Moot court or courtroom?
I mean, courtroom definitely. A moot court can't ever. It has its own pros, but it can't ever get you adjusted to whatever real courtroom is like.
Wow. Your go-to comfort food?
Pasta.
Your dream travel place?
I think I gave it away with Portugal, but since I've been there, let me say some other country where I haven't been. I would love to go to Mexico. That's something I've had on the chart for a while.
Wow. Morning briefs or late night drafting? What's your zone?
Late night drafting. I think I'm a night owl.
One quote that sums up your journey.
Uh, I don't know if this sums up my journey, but as a Formula fan, I really just love this quote. If you never go for a
Wow.
gap that exists, you're no longer a racing driver. I think that applies to all parts of life. If you don't go for an opportunity, you're missing out on everything. So I think that's how I equate that.
Wow. Beautiful. Okay. Uh, your favorite color?
Red.
Best piece of advice received?
Oh, there is actually, I think, too much to even try to boil it down. But I think the best piece would, of course, is be at the end of it, work is very important, but you have to maintain a balance between work and personal life as well.
Yeah, beautiful. Okay. Your favorite cricketer?
Dhoni, because I think that's when I was more passionate about cricket growing up, and then my passion slowly dwindled away, maybe.
Wow. Okay. Last one. Tea or coffee to recharge?
Coffee, absolutely. I think that's what I'm enjoying right now as well. Yes. Cheers.
So you did well. And here's a book, Legal AI
Thank you very much.
101, which will be sent to you.
Thank you.
So, Ankit, this was conversation was nothing short of inspiring, perfect blend of sports, a statutes strategy that truly reflects the modern legal mind. Your journey from moot courts to real world litigation, your insights on IP, media, sports law, emerging tech, and your personal stories remind us all that law is not just about rules, but also about passion, your uh, different sports, cricket, the football, and you were able to meet your, what do you say, idol, Cristiano, adaptability, vision. So, subscribe to the Coffee Corner Show where there are 5+ coffee speakers sharing their professional personal journey, and it will help you to implement in your lives. So, to everyone watching there, stay curious, stay ambitious, keep evolving because the future of law belongs to those who dare to blend intellect with instinct. So, we meet with another coffee speaker tomorrow. Continue the conversation over a cup of coffee. The conversation brews, and yeah, the journey continues. So, our tagline is Memory Maker, Change Maker, and bring smiles for lifetime. This is what Coffee Conversation brings to all our speakers out there. Thank you. Take care.
Thank you.